relighting your fire with Cybernet and me, Lucy Longhurst. Discover the world of the Final Fantasy, handheld consoles, how you're getting more choice, and enter the future with Blade Runner the game. It's the one we've all been waiting for. It's Cybernet. It's been in development for 3 years, comes on 3 CDs, and will make your humble PlayStation do things you never thought possible. We're talking about Final Fantasy VII, said to be the best role-playing game ever. Even if you're one of those gamers who can't stand the sight of turn-based fantasy games, keep watching because Final Fantasy VII is different. Not only do its graphics surpass everything you've ever seen on the PlayStation, and not only does it contain over 100 hours of solid gameplay, but it also lets you enter a new, exhilarating world. You begin the epic adventure controlling the main hero, Cloud, but you soon meet up with other companions as you progress through the game. They become essential to your success, helping you to solve puzzles and defeat the ever-growing number of dangerous enemies. The battle sequences are in real time, so you're going to have to think quickly. Deciding whether to attack an opponent, cast a magic spell, or heal a member of your party will often mean the difference between success or failure. As you and your friends become more experienced, your reactions will become faster, your attacks stronger, and you'll be able to cast a deadly array of spells. Collect enough materia, a substance needed for any magical attack, and you'll even be able to summon up powerful and often spectacular creatures to help you. In between the puzzle solving and fighting, there's a host of excellent sub-games and some video sequences that'll really amaze you. Every scene, background, character and vehicle has been drawn and animated to near perfection, although you often don't have time to appreciate all the detail as the gameplay speeds on to the next scene. Final Fantasy VII has become one of the world's best-selling games, and we can see why. Forget other role-playing titles and prepare yourself for a whole new experience. Now for the musically gifted amongst you, or even those who just like to hum the odd tune, here's a roller skating canine who's on a mission to rescue his friends. This is Lemon Dog, and he's off on an adventure in Soundland. You control Lemon Dog in this multimedia package for young players. He has to rescue his kidnapped friends from the villainous Sourpuss in order to reunite their band. To do this, there are levels to skate around, collecting objects which must be placed in the correct room. Get it wrong, and they'll simply float away. Collect all the right objects and you're rewarded with a golden key. Jump through to the adjoining room and you'll find one of your imprisoned friends. Then all you have to do is turn all of the keys to break a secret musical code. He'll be released and you'll be reunited. The aim is to work your way through all of the levels, rescuing a different band member on each one. You control Lemon Dog with your mouse, so it's easy to play and it's certainly original. Lemon Dog and his friends will appeal to young, aspiring musicians. Although the actual gameplay is quite repetitive, the graphics and sound are of a high quality. And once you've got the band back together again, you're rewarded with lots and lots of tunes. Star, Paul should make you unstoppable as he moves faster than the eye can see. This really speeds up your gameplay. If you've you've got a friend, you can try out both these virtual fighters at once by entering the code simultaneously on both controllers. You should now be an unbeatable team. Bringing in the muscle from another game to help you out is certainly something different, but when you're cheating, there are no rules. Handheld console systems are an important part of the gaming world, mainly because they're portable and can be used at any time and in any place. A huge number of successful games have been made for these consoles, and their popularity is immense. Nintendo have sold almost 50 million of their Game Boys worldwide. Traditionally, Nintendo have had a virtual monopoly on portable consoles, and the term Game Boy more or less defines the handheld market, but there are competitors around. Sega brought out the Game Boy's closest rival, the Game Gear. This also had some great titles, and it allowed you to play a portable system in colour. But the Game Gear never really captured the public's imagination, mainly because the batteries ran out so quickly. Then years later, and a new challenger burst onto the scene. Tiger Electronics, makers of virtual pets, produced a new handheld system, the Gamecom. Touchscreen technology meant you could switch between functions using either the traditional buttons or a stylus on the screen itself. Gamecom has a variety of titles, including some successful games that have been rewritten from other formats. And they don't convert too badly either, as we can see here with Turok. There are 5 other activities like a calendar, so you'll always know what day it is. But the most distinguishing feature is that with an additional cartridge, you can access any text-based internet pages and send and receive emails, as long as you can get to a telephone line and a modem, that is. The Gamecom looks as if it could be serious competition for the Game Boy with its additional features and strong lineup of games. Handheld consoles are just getting better and better. If you thought you'd seen everything when Sony gave us a platform gaming Bandicoot, then think again, because this PlayStation hero is none other than a firefighter. Roscoe McQueen is the bravest member of the emergency services on the console. Forget your missiles and laser beams, Roscoe here has greater weapons at his disposal, namely his trusty fire hose and fireman's axe. It's a hot game all right, but it's one with a difference. The graphics won't astound you if you're a true 3D fan, but Roscoe will be sure to impress with his great gameplay. Putting out fires with an assortment of tools is quite simply great fun, as are the cute robots he encounters throughout his brave quest. There may be times when a fire is particularly difficult to put out, and Roscoe may have to use all his skills in a race against the clock. Roscoe McQueen is sure to please younger gamers, although it may be a bit too repetitive for older ones. But it's a bright spark of originality within a tired genre that will keep you playing with that hose. adventure to a truly funny one. It's The Curse of Monkey Island, the third installment of the famous LucasArts series featuring Guybrush the hero, along with his friends and foes. The Monkey Island games are well known for their humor, great gameplay, and fantastic characters.
Hey, I'm getting pretty good at this.
Now the third episode continues the story. Guybrush has proposed to Elaine, but the ring he gives her is cursed and turns her into a golden statue. He must now remove the curse and restore his beloved to normal. The puzzles are challenging, but not too obscure. It may be a sequel, but it's a Monkey Island sequel. This is one storyline we don't mind being taken on a stage further. Two-dimensional style may seem out of place amongst today's 3D games, but the overall look is still colourful and strong, and somehow that all-important extra dimension just doesn't seem important. The world is immersive, the graphics are detailed and fluid, and it'll make you laugh.
Feeling down because your chicks turned to gold? Come to the swamp, get your fortune told.
What more could you want from a point-and-click adventure?
This is so embarrassing. Looks like I'm gonna need some more help.
Or a chicken, perhaps. OK, time for our competition now, so grab a pen. Welcome back to part 2 of Cybernet.
This time I've taken every precaution, spared no expense, you know? What could go wrong?
When it's a game called Chaos Island, The Lost World, obviously things are going to go wrong.
Ian, you worry too much.
Featuring the actors from the Lost World movie, Chaos Island is a strategy adventure for the PC that's very similar in style to Command & Conquer. Using all your problem-solving skills, you have to fight your way through 12 prehistoric missions in which evil hunters are trying to take over the island. After first building a secure base camp, you must rescue scientists, collect eggs, and raise a ferocious army of fighting dinosaurs. This game won't be sophisticated enough for older players, but for young gamers, especially those who are fans of the movie, it's a clever introduction to the strategy genre.
Hello there.
Hello, John. We were just going over the info on the theorem.
Excellent, excellent. But once you find it, get to the pier on the far side of the island. Over and out.
Okay, let's get moving.
Wriggling their way back into our lives are those annelids with attitude in the sequel to the award-winning Worms. This time, the mission to wipe out the enemy and control the last worm standing has taken on a whole new meaning. As soon as you see Worms 2, you're sure to agree that it looks better than ever before. And once you start to play and see some of the weapons at your disposal, you'll realise the designers have gone into comedy overdrive. Funnier and craftier than the original Worms, these ones are a force to be reckoned with.
You later.
With Worms 2, what we wanted to do is basically not break what's already there, because it's always been a very gameplay-driven game. So a lot of people said automatically let's stick it in 3D, which is probably like the worst thing you can do for a 2D game. So he thought just basically make the game look as good as possible, because one of the criticisms of the first Worms was the actual simplistic graphics. People liked the game, but they obviously wanted to look better.
Amazing!
Adding worm speech, editing weapons, and creating new landscapes is as much a part of the game as strategically destroying your opponents. Whether you're going it alone against 17 other worms or competing with friends across the internet, this is one sequel that's sure to knock you out.
Get you!
Anyone who's ever surfed the internet will know that making your way from one site to another can be a long and boring process. But the virtual World Wide Web has changed all of that. Within its 3D environment, you can take the metro between virtual cities from all over the world. Die Virtuelle Stadt is a virtual German city that offers all sorts of activities hidden within its many buildings. Special events often take place in the main square. When we checked in, we found a 3D link into outer space and the Sojourner Mars landing project. All these pages require the Vizscape plugin to work, but once this has been installed, it's all relatively fast to load. When the virtual World Wide Web was launched, there were very few 3D pages using the system. Now, though, there are over 400 different worlds connected to the central town through links that can be anything from a lamppost to a virtual human. Off 2nd Street, the entertainment zone, you can visit musician Herbie Hancock's surreal world, where the dustbins play music and everything you click on comes to life. It's certainly more interesting than your average pop tribute page. With PC technology constantly changing, the internet seems to be keeping up with its hardware. The virtual World Wide Web is the closest we've seen so far to the traditional view of cyberspace. And with more and more pages adopting 3D technologies, it's now possible to travel to a wide variety of places from the past, present and future, and you don't even need a time machine. So if you're tired of lots of boring text, why not click onto the virtual World Wide Web and discover a whole new dimension to the internet? There's an urgent package that must be delivered no matter what, and you're the bicycle messenger whose task it is to get the job done. But life in the big city as a courier isn't easy, and danger lurks around every corner. An original and clever idea for a game, Courier Crisis is an exciting prospect that you can't wait to start playing. Once you get on your bike, however, it's a different story. This game is a bit of a disappointment. Apart from the thrill of speeding through the streets and knocking over everyone in your path, there isn't a lot to Courier Crisis.
You're gonna need some ointment for that one.
And as you progress through the levels, you'll soon notice that each is very similar to the one before. There may be more objects in your path, and the streets may become more difficult to navigate, but that's really about it. An original idea is no substitute for lack of content. Unless you're a cycling fan who just can't get enough of those beautiful bikes, this may be one game you'll want to steer clear of. Accelerating from 2 wheels to 4 now is Test Drive 4, a racing game for the PlayStation and the PC. With 14 classic cars from both the past and the present to choose from, this game will definitely appeal to motoring enthusiasts. The detailed 3D graphics are smooth and best appreciated when driving with the point of view from behind the wheel. From this perspective, the action is fast and very realistic, although it can be a bit confusing at times, especially when you crash. There are 6 international locations to choose from, and if you're racing around the hills of San Francisco, you'll have to use your best driving skills to keep control of your vehicle. Crashing is just one reason why you have to be a careful driver. Another is that you might find yourself being chased by the police. If they order you to stop, it'll mean losing valuable time in your race against the clock. Test Drive 4 looks good and is very smooth to play, but with no outstanding features to send it racing ahead of the competition, it's ultimately just another driving game. Now here's our look at some of the most popular PC games from around the world. Formula 1 is at 10, one of the most realistic races we've ever seen. If you prefer going off-road, try International Rally Championship at 9. At 8, it's Red Alert, the strategy game that just can't be conquered. Buy and sell your own empire in Monopoly Star Wars at 7. Or save the galaxy from the dark side with Jedi Knight at 6. At 5, it's Encarta 98, the encyclopedia that gives you everything. Clear the mist and gaze at the graphics with Riven at 4. At 3, it's The Curse of Monkey Island, the hilarious pirate adventure. Championship Manager 2, 97 to 98 is at 2. And reaching new heights at 1, it's the highly detailed Flight Simulator 98. The year is 2019, and most of the human inhabitants of Earth are living on other planets. Welcome to the world of the Blade Runner. Westwood Studios, creators of the Command & Conquer series, spent several years writing this long-awaited adventure game based on the novel by Philip K. Dick and the movie directed by Ridley Scott.
Beautiful night, isn't it?
When business thriving, night always beautiful.
The game is not based on the film. It happens in the world of the film. And some of the characters are directly from the film. In fact, the storyline is concurrent with the film's storyline.
To make the game really feel like the film, the designers brought in members of the original movie cast to act out sections of the story. Their movements were recorded using motion capture cameras. The data from these was then translated into computer-generated action. To complete Blade Runner's realistic feel, the actors recorded a 700-page script, and their faces were scanned into a computer. Now the virtual actors looked and sounded like the characters from the film.
Indulge me.
In the game, you play a novice Blade Runner called McCoy, whose job is to track down non-human so-called replicants, who may be responsible for a series of violent crimes. Your point-and-click search for clues begins in Runsitter's animal store.
I believe this is the disc from last night.
Peachy.
Using your Esper photo enhancer, you can zoom in on previously hidden parts of an image. Everything you discover during the game is stored in your personal computer and used in the relevant place without the need for a command. Your mood may well affect the response you get from witnesses as you ask questions and search for evidence, so choose carefully.
Excuse me. Deliveries to rare. LPD, I got a couple of questions.
Every character has their own set of goals and actions. They go about them to the best of their ability, and you're really a catalyst for action and not the only catalyst for action.
Using tools like the VK test, you must find out whether each of your suspects is human or replicant. By combining puzzle solving with extremely fast-moving mouse-clicking action, Blade Runner feels and looks unlike any other game of its kind. The replicants you have to catch may be any of the characters you meet, and as the game is non-linear, you can decide either to side with them or terminate them. Each time you play, it'll be different. With 13 possible endings to the game, Blade Runner is as breathtaking on the small screen as the movie was on the big one. That has to be one of the most amazing titles we've ever seen or played.